our studios here in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV. Because we are free to air, it's on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. Coming up this afternoon on the polls, chaos, arrests and alleged removal of names from the voters' album marks the ongoing NPP constituency executive elections.
Paving way for the vehicle to run through. So very chaotic situation here.
As we're live on the ground, we'll also bring you the very latest across the country where the election is taking place, and parts of Accra flooded again after hours of downpour. What can be done to avert this annual trend that rains whenever the rain setting? We'll definitely explore all of that. Stay with us as we find the answers here on the polls. And as well, it's been 30 years since the adoption of Ghana's fourth Republican Constitution. We asked that question here on the polls. Has the 1992 Constitution fulfilled its purpose? We'll sample your thoughts on this crucial matter of national importance. My name is Blessed Sogah. The Pulse, as always, is brought to you by Global Communities Dignity Low, affordable, safe sanitation. Don't forget that this afternoon as well, we're streaming on all of our social media handles. It's at JoyNews on TV. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at Blessed Sogah. Always a pleasure serving you here on The Pulse. Please stay. Well, so chaos, arrests, alleged removal of names and absence of voters' album that have characterized actually the ongoing governing New Patriotic Party's constituencies elections, which is happening in parts of the country. The election is the first among a series of internal contests which is happening before the National Delegates Congress, which is happening later this year. Now, we understand that 4 people, including the constituency organizer, the youth leaders as well, were arrested for inciting violence in the Okaikwe South constituency. The allegation is that 430 delegates had their names missing in the voters' album, which was only made available last night. Here's my colleague Parker Wilson with a wrap of what transpired here in the Greater Accra region, specifically the Okaikwe South constituency earlier today.
Fight, the two of ready fight.
Right, so what's happening here is that the delegates have blocked the vehicle conveying the Electoral Commission officials to the venue. They have said that this election will not be conducted, and so even though the police is escorting the Electoral Commission to the venue where the elections will be held, the delegates have blocked the vehicle, asking that this election will not be conducted and that the EC should return to their offices because this election today will not be conducted. Boss, I mean, this is a vehicle. And why are you stopping the vehicle, sir?
We just want the right thing to be done. this is an election. These people came to us that they are going to maintain everyone. And here lies the case. We have the videos, evidence. And now they've taken our names out. Look at the number of people here. And you expect us to let the election go on. Never. The right thing must be done. The right thing must be done.
But you can't block. The police said that this election,
yes,
the party has given them today to conduct the election.
Today.
So you can't block the EC.
What we know is that we are delegates and we are expected to vote on Saturday. So why are they coming now? What is the agenda?
I see.
In favor of anything. We want peace. We want peace. You cannot say that this vehicle should run through us. You cannot say that this vehicle should run through us. What is it?
So the police is here. The police is moving. The police is pushing them away. The police is pushing them away. Paving way. The paving way for the vehicle to run through. So very chaotic situation here. At the Prince of Peace School, where the NPP is holding its delegates constituency election, and that is, you can see the force, you can see the reaction of the police and the delegate pushing them, shoving them, and the vehicle equally moving slowly, gaining access to the entrance. So this is the chaotic situation here at the Prince of Peace School, where the NPP is expected to hold their delegate conference. Some of the delegates are in a fisticuffs with the police right now, paving way for the EC to move. So clearly, this is the situation. This is the situation. This man has held the police leg, and this is the chaotic situation here. The chaotic situation here at the Prince of Peace. Finally, the vehicle has gained access. Finally, the vehicle has gained access, and the vehicle has entered. What it means is that the election will be held, and one has been arrested. One man has been arrested, and he has been taken into the police vehicle. So he has been arrested. He has been arrested, and he's asking the police to handcuff him. He's been accused of pelting stones. He's been accused of pelting stones against the police. Another group of people equally have been arrested. So this man also has been arrested by the police, and he's struggling with the police. He doesn't want to move. He's struggling with the police. So he equally has been arrested. And this one also has been arrested. So this is the current situation here at the Okankwe South constituency. So about 3 people now have been arrested. 3 people have been arrested currently. So this is the situation. They have been kept at the bucket of the police vehicle. So this is the situation. The police is willing and ready to arrest any individual who will misbehave. And that warning came from the ACP, the Divisional Commander for Kaneshie District. He is the one in charge of this election. Another guy has been arrested. Another one has been arrested, making about 4. So 4 people so far have been arrested for misconduct and obstructing the duties of the Ghana Police Service. 4 people have been arrested so far for distracting the work of the Ghana Police Service. So, wow. And people are pelting stones. Some of the delegates are pelting stones. So that is the situation. This is the current situation here at the Prince of Peace. They are pelting stones at the police. The police are running for cover. They are pelting stones at the police. The delegates are pelting stones at the police. They are pelting stones at the police. The delegates are still fighting in a fisticuffs with the police, pelting stones. A very chaotic situation. At the moment. Very chaotic situation at the moment. Here at the Prince of Peace School, Bubuashi, where the delegates. Oh, that's it. So the delegates are pelting stones. The delegates are pelting stones at the Ghana Police Service. The delegates are porting stones at the Ghana Police Service, and we've been asked to withdraw and take cover behind the police. So that has been the advice from the Ghana Police Service. As you can see the gate is now fully opened, and this will pave way for the conduct of the election. The divisional commander is here. This is the man who is in charge of this election. I saw your reaction with the delegates. Basically, what has been the major problem for you this morning as far as this election is concerned, sir?
They are raising issues of the election coming on Saturday and not today, and that some people's names have been removed from the register. And then they went on to also say that they've taken the matter to court and there is injunction. And what I was trying to tell them is that if they have injunction and they go ahead, the party goes ahead to conduct the election, they have every right to go and cite the party for contempt. If some people's name have been removed from the register as they are alleged, that is also a basis for them to go to court and, channel their grievances. At the end of the day, we are not expecting them to be physical or obstruct anybody who is coming to cast his or her vote. And the police, as the police, we are here to maintain law and order, period.
But I have heard some of them saying that this election will not come on. Whether you are here or not, they will block this election because their names have been taken off.
We are here, as I said, to maintain law and order. And therefore, if anybody thinks he is too big, we are here. We'll see who is big, and at the end of the day, who will be able to maintain law and order so far as this election is concerned.
Well, a lot has been happening over the past 24 hours. Let's take you now to the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, where the election started with equal reports of chaos in the Subin constituency, as some aspirants for executive positions in the NPP moved to stop the election there as well. They accused the party leadership of breaching internal processes. Aspiring chairperson Mark Chey says the date for the election was set in less than 24 hours, denying them a voters register. Love FM's Nana Yao Jima joins us live from the Subin constituency, where there's a lot of tension and also heavy police presence. Nana Yao, so I can see at the background a lot happening. The voting process appears to have started. How is that exercise going so far?
It's difficult hearing you here, but I believe you are asking me about the current situation here at Abankwetia Senior Basic School, where the Subin New Patriotic Party is electing their executives today. The place at the moment is very calm. The voting just ended. It's about time the ballot is counted. Now the officials of the Electoral Commission have taken their positions, and at the moment they are calling on representatives of the various aspirants to come around to witness the counting of the ballot cast so far. So at the moment everything is calm, but if I should run you through what has been happening here today, it started with very chaotic scenes. A number of the aspirants were contesting today's election. What they were saying is that they were denied access to the albums, that's the voter register, which is being used for the elections today, and they were only told of today's election yesterday. So they were not happy with the process in the morning, but before everything started, they were in a meeting with the police to talk about the process and how they can have the process without any infractions. Some of them were calmed down by that meeting which they had with the police, and the election started. Now, intermittently, there were situations where some people raised objections, and these objections followed with some kind of chaos within the contestants and also the delegates here. But the police presence, or the men here, made sure that tempers were calmed for the process to continue. So it's 3 p.m. and as I said earlier, per the election regulations, the voting has ended. It's about time the EC counts the ballots. That's why you can see a number of the delegates moving to that area to get their ballots counted and also observe the process. So far, things have been calm after the incident that happened in the morning. But interestingly, one of the aspirants had his name missing on the ballot papers. That's Yao Gerard, and the reason for the absence of his name on the ballot paper is yet to be known. But aside that, he was spoken to by the executives. Some members of the regional executives were also here to have the deliberations with him. So far, he has refused to talk to the media and tell us reasons why his name was missing, and also reasons why he decided to stay calm, stay put, and ensure that the process goes on. But in summary, it started with some chaos, but at the moment things are calm. I have with me one of the aspirants who wants to be the first vice chairman of the Subin NPP. In the morning, he was one of the people who were not happy with the process, but as time went on, he got calm, and at this afternoon he's been speaking to us, and he's been assuring us that whatever transpires in the election, by the end of the counting of the ballot, he will be okay with the process. Alaji, JoyNews. So Alaji, anopano na wani abre yi edien anopane ma abufo no na woso sa.
Okay, me chia mutiefo nyina anopano se wa hu ade started from enura 6 o'clock na omu ye ne se omu frɛ se yambra ntie ba yamba
omu frɛ yen no yen ne hemfo
omu frɛ ya ye gina at delegate this no aspirants no omu si yambra na emfa adwini adwini eba fa so ma etimi to aba no ntie ba ya na omu ye se okay album no omu nya hihye album no nti ko mu stress ne yentu aba no nti ohonum ne kasa no nye de ema ye kasa bebre ema ye koy na ye say ne ye ma aba no ye den.
Well, so live pictures there from the Ashanti region, particularly the Subin constituency, where a lot transpired at the start of the polls, very chaotic scenes, but it appears that the aspirants are beginning to settle down now for the results to be counted. We understand that by the regulation, it's past 3 p.m., which means that any moment from now, if you're one of the aspirants where the elections is happening, you'll definitely know about the outcome. Martina Bugri as well is in the northern parts of the country, Yendi to be precise, where the elections were also called off at the last minute, and she's been speaking to some of the delegates there. Martina, what more can you tell us?
The region has generally been very calm, except the exercise that is ongoing. You go to the various centers and people are still canvassing for votes, speaking to delegates to vote their preferred candidates. But generally, it's been a very quiet day for the elections, and everything has been successful so far.
Do we know reasons accounting for this abrupt end of the exercise? At least mainly the delegates were hoping that they were going to participate in the exercise today.
I didn't get your question. If you could repeat.
Do we know the reasons? Do we know the official reasons now why the election has been put on hold in Yendi, for instance?
Well, speaking to the delegate, they hold it that it was cancelled because they didn't have they couldn't reach a decision on which album to use. There have been controversy over the use of an album. A lot of people have criticized in the Yendi municipality.
Right.
They have had issues with it over the time, and then they had reached an agreement that the elections will hold today. But towards this morning, they were told that it was cancelled, and so the voters believe that some party bigwigs in Accra are pushing because their preferred candidate. They think that if the election holds on, their preferred candidate might not get the necessary votes to be able to elect the person in the next parliamentary primaries. So they are even looking ahead to the parliamentary elections that will be held later in the year and not this actual one. And so that they think that that's probably the reason why it was not held.
Have you gotten in touch with any of the national or perhaps regional executives on reasons why there's the delay in the process? And what's likely to happen in the coming days as well?
I spoke with the regional secretary earlier on, and he said that they have issues there. That's all he just said. He said they have issues there. The matter has been referred to the steering committee, and they are waiting for the outcome. That's all he said.
Martina will definitely be following up on that, but we're grateful that you've been able to give us some updates. Ilyasu Tanko is also joining us with the latest from up north. Ilyasu, give us the very latest where you are and what's been happening ever since the start of the polls. Ilyasu, if you can hear me, I'm asking about the exercise today.
Yeah. Yes, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes, so voting currently ongoing in 3 constituencies in the northeast region, the Bunkurgu constituency, the Jirpane constituency, as well as the Unyo constituency. My understanding is that very soon voting in the Bunkurgu constituency will come to an end, and we expect that the Jirpane and Unyo too will follow very soon. Largely, what we have monitored so far is that the polls have been very peaceful in this 3 particular constituencies.
Right. And have we witnessed any incidents, complaints, just as we are recording across the country? All right.
Record that any incident in these 3 particular constituencies, but the other things, especially in the Nalerugu-Gambaga constituency, where there's almost a standoff between the regional executive on one hand and the municipal chief executive, as well as the police on the other hand. What we are learning is that the regional executive have resolved to hold this particular election at Langbinsi. However, the MCE, my understanding is that has received petition from some party members who are saying that they actually want the election to be held in Nalerugu, which is the regional capital. And that has been the point of a stalemate between the executives and the MC and the police as well. As I speak to you, the matter has been referred to the police. The police have moved in, and my understanding is that the police is trying to prevent any eventuality, because the regional executive is bent on holding the election at Langbinsi. And so as I speak to you now, this is the old point that we are witnessing. And so we do not know the current state of the upcoming election in the Gambaga Nalerugu constituency. We spoke to the regional executive of the regional executive here, and they are not able to tell me exactly whether the election will come up on Saturday as scheduled because of this particular point of attention. And the Wale Wale constituency was supposed to be held on Friday, but my understanding is that that also has been postponed to Saturday, and the Yagaba constituency as well. And so apart from this incident, which is still brewing and increasing.
Definitely. We'll keep our eyes on that, Ilyasu Tanko. Right, indeed, and we'll definitely get back to you as and when we have some more updates on that. It appears that clearly it's not the case of doom in every constituency, because the election has been peaceful in some parts of the country as well, like the western region, upper west and northeast, as you just heard from Ilyasu Tanko. Let's bring in the national youth organizer of the NPP, Henry Nana Boachi, and we'll be hearing from him shortly. But some party groups as well have been raising concerns about the exercise, particularly within the Ashanti region. That group is called the NPP Ashanti Patriots. They're a pro-NPP group which believes that a number of activities in the region could hamper the progress of the NPP going into the next elections if issues relating to the constituency election are not dealt with. Joining us now is Eric Osei, who's a convener of that group. Eric, so you've been monitoring the developments, particularly within Subing, where we received a report that some of the aspirants did not find their names on the ballots. Aside all of these issues, are there some more concerns that you have as a group? Eric, you would have to unmute for me so I can hear the point you're making. Right, we'll get Eric in a moment, and he'll be joining us to make his point. But Eric, if you can hear me, I'm just asking if your group has any more concerns about today's exercise. Eric is the convener for the pro-NPP group Ashanti Patriots. They are raising some concerns about the exercise today. We're having difficulties hearing him. We'll also connect shortly to some of the aggrieved aspirants as well who contested in the Okaikwe areas, who are also raising concerns about the process and how it was not fair, calling on the regional executives to act. We'll get all of that for you shortly. Eric, if you can hear me, let's try one more time. I'm asking if you have any more concerns aside what transpired at Subing today. We seem to be having a challenge there. Unfortunately, Eric is trying so hard to make his point, but we can't hear him here, so we'll do all of that and bring you some updates from the Ashanti region. We're also connecting to some other disqualified aspirants who have been raising concerns about today's exercise. We'll bring you updates on that very shortly and also get some of the party groups. But earlier on in the Subin constituency, we understand that one of the aspirants did not find his name on the ballots. That's same for the Okaikwe area, where the police had to ward off some aggrieved delegates who claim that their names are not on the album. And that has been the general concern across board. But in part of the Western and Upper East region, the exercise has been smooth. And as Ilyasu Tanko gave us reports earlier, 3 constituencies in the northeast part of the country, northeastern part of the country, that exercise has been smooth. So we'll fill you in and bring you the very latest as and when we have it. Eric Osei is joining us on phone. Eric, we're having difficulties hearing you.
Hello?
Yes, Eric. So yes, let's hear you then on the point.
Yeah, a quick correction on my name. The name is Emmanuel.
Yeah, Emmanuel says. Yes, let's hear you on the point then.
Yeah, I think what is happening, a friend, what the Bible says, that you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. Seriously, anybody who do not like truth is in slavery. How on earth can such a barbaric practice continue? That somebody has applied to be a polling station executive, the person has gone through the process, the person has been voted for, and his name is supposed to be put in an album, and all of a sudden, for whatever interest, for whatever reason, barbaric reason, a member of parliament or whoever can just stick out his neck and say, this name should be obliterated from the register. In an era like this, 21st century, 2022, it's a shame. I said on your platform some time ago that the NPP has men and women in position, but there is no leadership. There is no leadership in the sense that, you see, in this current dispensation, everybody is enlightened. Everybody is going to school. Everybody is almost becoming intelligent and upright. So if you want to be given a position to serve, do your things well. Whatever position you are given, serve and serve better so that people will see a reason to give you another chance. If you don't do that, and you go and corrupt yourself or for whatever reason, and you feel you can outwit people with some mafia strategies and what have you, it will not work. You see what is happening in Okaikwe and the like. It is a shame. It is simply a shame. In the history of the New Patriotic Party, never have you seen such occurrence. Of course, there may be pockets of violence.
Unfortunately, we've lost the convener for the NPP Ashanti Patriots. This is the Pulse. We'll return shortly after this break. Please stay with us. And you're welcome back to the Pulse. Now, President Akufo-Addo in a few hours from now will address the nation. The address by Ghana's leader today is aimed at marking the 30th anniversary of the referendum that approved the 1992 Constitution. The framework which ushered Ghana into the Fourth Republican dispensation was approved in a referendum on April 28, 1992. However, after more than 2 decades of its enforcement, there are growing calls for a constitutional reform. One of such groups is the Economic Fighters League, EFL, which is asking the president to make some changes to the constitution. Joining us now is Fighter General of the Economic Fighters League, Hadi Yakubu. Thank you, sir, for your time. So we're expecting the president to address us in a few hours from now. What's your expectation as we wait on the president?
Yeah, thank you very much, my brother, and good afternoon to your viewers all across the world. I think I would like to begin by first making a correction, asking for changes to the 1992 Constitution. We believe that the very soul of the Constitution is poisoned, and what we are looking for is a completely new Constitution, that does not take its inspiration from what the 1992 Constitution has come to represent. In our estimation, the 30 years of operation of the 1992 Constitution has been a very, difficult period for the Ghanaian people. It has established a system that only caters to the luxuries of few rather than the necessities of all. The 1992 Constitution, for many Ghanaians, has come to represent the anchor of dysfunctional governance, corruption, wanton stealing, over-bloated powers of the executive, inefficient parliament, a judiciary that is all but captured, and a state that is absent from the lives of the people. So we cannot make piecemeal amendments to this constitution. We need a completely new constitution. I do not expect the
and I'm sorry for cutting through, but Hadi, the point is, if you're saying we need a completely new constitution, the argument is, if it's not broken, why fix it?
It is completely broken. It is completely broken. It is so broken that it is now beyond repair. And that is why I'm saying that it's better to throw this 1992 Constitution away. In fact, this Constitution is what we have described as a Sakawa Constitution, because in one vein, it pretends to promote certain things, ability, rule of law, fair distribution of resources, when in actual fact, the political economy that the Constitution establishes for in terms of the governance structure and the economic framework for the country is something that does not promote any sort of accountability, does not promote any sort of fair distribution of the resources of the state. In fact, what it promotes is a concentration of the wealth of the country in the hands of just a few, who then build more power and acquire luxury, while the majority of the people are wallowing in abject poverty, without changing course and without making sure that we establish a civil process to bring about a new constitutional district that will establish a new system that caters to the needs of all rather than the luxuries of a few. We are going to be headed for doom. Nobody wants that kind of thing to happen.
Definitely. We'll be coming to get the details of what it is that the EFL would want to see with regards to framing a whole new constitution. But let's speak to one man who's the chairperson of Parliament's Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee chair, the Honourable Anyimado Entry is joining us on phone to also make some contributions. Thank you, sir, for joining us on the Pulse. So we're expecting the president to address us in a few hours from now. Here we are already. Some youth groups are asking for a change in the constitution. The belief is it's only served the purpose of Article 71 office holders, and most especially the executive. How true is this claim? And do you believe in this? Do we need a new constitution altogether?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to your television. Hello?
I'm with you, sir.
Yeah. If you can hear me, may I proceed?
Yes, we can hear you.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Yes, okay. We can. Right.
Right. Personally, there are a lot of things that I think needs a change in the Constitution. as for Article 71 office holders, I would not comment on it that much because the premise of the Constitution had actually set up the conditions for Article 71 office holders. But the Article 75 office holders, most people even would want to believe that the people that are mentioned there or the offices mentioned there are that of politicians. But if you take your time to go through it, you realize that there are a whole lot, Auditor General, Public Services Commission, blah, blah, blah. You would have parliamentarians, you have judges, and a member of parliament, for instance, has a condition of a high court. I think not even the Court of Appeal. At some point, we were fighting for that. But nobody focuses on that. But let us look at what we want. I think it should be changed. Personally, I would have loved that we have the parliamentary system of government. But I doubt if the president will, even if he believes in that, I think he will be reluctant to actually pronounce on it because it is this same constitution that brought him to power. But you realize that the president had actually stated that he wanted to actually give back the power that Ghanaians had given the president for the appointment of the MMDC. And that would not happen. And I think that is one thing that I would love to hear. I didn't actually comment on why I think that we have to go back to the 1969 Constitution for the parliamentary system of government. With that, you realize that that system talks about the fact that when the majority leadership would be the prime minister, and it holds government in check. Another thing that I would want, that would also come about is that it would actually separate the legislature from the executive. That is also one thing that we have to look at. If there is a dichotomy between the two, then I think that it will also help and improve upon accountability. Because if you have majority of members of parliament being the executive,
right,
it makes it difficult for the executive to actually be answerable to parliament.
The argument for some is that we started some processes during the Mills era. Why not go back to it and just pick up from where we left off on the Constitutional Review Commission and its findings?
Well, I will agree with you because we set up a whole commission that went round. For the Constitutional Review Commission, it went round. And then there is a report, a very voluminous report. And after that, that report is actually gathering dust offices. So it is something that I think that I would want to hear the president talk about it, that probably a white paper will be issued for us to actually proceed.
All right, and just hold on for us briefly. Hadi Yakubu is also on that group. The EFL has been calling for a new constitution altogether. Also, the Deputy Attorney General, Alfred Tiayabua, is also joining us via phone. We'll get his thoughts shortly on what it is that we need to expect from the President. But Hadi, you heard from the chairperson of the Constitutional and Legal Committee in Parliament. He says, well, let's just pick up from where we left off, revisiting the works of the Constitutional Review Commission, and then that will suffice. It will address almost all the changes that at least you're on the lookout for. Hadi, kindly unmute.
I'll say good afternoon
yes,
to
right,
them.
okay. That's fine.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Hadi.
Right. Yes, so I was saying that at least one thing that we can agree on is that everybody agrees that this 1992 constitution is no longer fit for purpose. and needs absolutely to change. As to whether we should go back to the 10 Constitution Review Commission report is a discussion that we can have. We have our reservations about that. You remember the government of the day issued a white paper on that report. And in that white paper, they basically had three categories of they had those that they accepted, those recommendations that they rejected. And there were numerous recommendations that they never, and we don't know where those ones start. It is I don't know, a matter for us to all agree if another white paper, another government white paper is admissible in this circumstance. The recommendations even of that review commission report, if you go to the background and listen to some of the people who worked on it, you will realize that there were a lot of whittled down recommendations just to please the executive that put it into power. So we believe that in order to have a working system, a constitution that really works for the people, it needs to be a more inclusive sort of process, more inclusive consultative process, not a presidential commission whose recommendations are liable to being accepted or rejected by the executive. It makes absolutely no sense.
But in the absence,
spend so much money on a commission whose recommendations that the president can just say, I accept this, I reject the rest. And others, he doesn't even touch on them. You don't know where they start. So, these are discussions that we can have. But I think it's a good starting point that everybody now believes that the 1992 Constitution is absolutely broken beyond repair.
Okay, the point is, Hadi, in the absence of a new constitution, at least wouldn't you welcome that idea that, well, the demand you've been making for some time now is gaining traction, and that we could fix the problem without necessarily going in for a new constitution?
Actually, if you look at the mechanics of new constitution versus reviewed or amended constitution, you will actually find that doing a new constitution is much more affordable and easier than reviewing the constitution. For instance, if you look at just the review commission report that we just talked about, there were several provisions, that were recommended for change. Most of them being entrenched provisions, which cannot be changed just by a parliamentary act. They have to go for a referendum. So I think there were more than 30 of them. If you have to change each one of them, then you probably you have to go for a referendum to change each one of them. And therefore, it's first of all too expensive. It's secondly time wasting. It's thirdly too cumbersome to do this kind of thing. So the best approach is to look at this from the perspective of a new dawn. To birth a new Ghana that serves the citizens without, dividing Ghana into two Ghanas, where one Ghana is made up of few people who are enjoying all the luxuries and enjoying all the economic benefits of so-called democracy, whilst the rest are basically wallowing in poverty and hoping that one day a Messiah will rise up and save them. That in itself is a recipe for chaos. And the earlier we stepped up to set up this new system, the better for all of us to maintain the peace and stability of the country, because this system is not sustainable and it is anchored in the 1992 Constitution. And therefore, it is necessary to completely change the Constitution so that the new system would birth new hope for the young people, especially this country.
Right, and what we're learning of is that the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, is also starting some processes in that regard in terms of engaging stakeholders on whether or not there should be some changes within the Constitution. Fortunately, Joyce Futu, who's the Director of Communications, is joining us now. Joyce, what can you tell us about the activities being set in place by the NCCE?
Very much for the opportunity. The activities that we have scheduled for this year's Constitution Week The first one is a press briefing, which we invited the media, and then we detailed activities that we have earmarked for the week. And we also have a lecture and a panel discussion where we'll bring experts on board to look at the gaps in the Constitution and how we can chart a new course by either reviewing it. We'll look at provisions that have outlived their usefulness and they can be reviewed. We also have engagement with security services in all the 16 regions across the country. We engage them because they are also a stakeholder in consolidating our country's democracy. Then we have activities with basic and senior high schools. We call Citizenship Week. Annually, we think they are also young citizens, so we engage them on the role that they can also play to contribute to Ghana's democracy. And this year, we'll educate them on national values, patriotism, and the constitutional processes. Then we'll be
is it the case that
across the country?
Right. Is it the case that the NCC is probably calling for some changes within the Constitution? Is that the case?
Yes. Certainly, the Constitution has served us for 30 years. There have been some achievements, and equally, there are deficits. So we look at the gaps that a lot of people have called that we should review. People from academia, politicians, and all that, civil society, and all that, that we should look at the gaps and be able to reform it so that it can better serve the needs of Ghanaians. So NCC also holds that view.
George, just hold on for us. Honorable Nyumado Entry is also chair of the Constitutional and Legal Committee in Parliament. Honorable, so here we are. It's not just from civil society groups as well. Even some state agencies feel the need for us to change some things about the Constitution. You agree in part, but as the President is about to address us, what should be paramount for him as he speaks to us on this occasion? Honorable Entry, if you can hear me, I'm asking about the priority areas for the President as we're expecting him to address the nation.
Priority area?
Yes. What should be keen on the agenda? Because it appears that there's that consensus that some changes would have to be made to the Constitution.
Well, I heard the NCC, and I think the work that they've started and what she's telling us to be doing is similar to what a constitutional review has done already. Now, if you take the second Republican Constitution and then the third Republican Constitution, most of the things that were in there have been repeated in the fourth Republican Constitution. So no matter what, if we say that we're going to rewrite a constitution, there are countries that have unwritten constitution, and they still work, a work. So if you take United Kingdom, for instance, they don't have a written constitution as we have, but everything goes on. So I agree with Fair that, yes, we need to review the constitution. There are a lot of portions that have worked for us for 30 years, and there are some of them that we need to actually review. For instance, what the President proposed the other time, that we almost got consensus with the other side, that is the NDC, and last minute they turned around it and said that, no, we're not going to agree with you, and then the President has to abandon every effort that he made. The President is now going to speak. I would want to wait for him to set the agenda. Of course, all of us we've all witnessed this. What can actually help us going forward? Is it about the elections, how we conduct our elections? Is it about political parties and whatnot? If we have to implement all the laws that this Constitution has given birth to, I'm sure it could actually help. But talking about priority areas, what I personally believe in, I do not foresee the President coming out with those visions. So I'll rather wait and see what will come out of.
One of the criticisms of our constitution is that it's giving too much powers to the executive president. Can we do some changes to that? Is that an idea that you would welcome, knowing that you serve with the NPP side in Parliament as well?
The present constitution, as I said, the nature of our constitution is that it is a presidential one. The history of this is that we try to combine the United Kingdom and American Constitution, which gives the executive powers to the president. So we probably have to look at the basics. Where do we want to go? Are we trying to go the parliamentary system purely, or want to go presidential system? And if we have to go presidential system, and with the powers of the president, you want to take those powers out, who is going to receive those powers? These are questions that we need to ask. The president says, I have lots of powers, and I think it doesn't help. Let us give some of the powers to the people. The people say, no, we don't want it. So it's really difficult to actually get back and say that, oh, the president is having lots of powers. It's true. The president has the executive powers, but that is the constitution we have, the path that we have chosen for ourselves. So if we want to change the presidential system and the powers that goes over to the parliamentary system, that's also another side.
And finally, your take on decoupling Parliament and its activities from the executive.
Sorry?
Decoupling the executive from Parliament as well. There seems to be some collaboration, or whatever you may want to term it, which gives some allowances, even within our constitution, where MPs serve as ministers of state. The fear is that's also compromising the supremacy of your chamber. Is this the time to consider separating it entirely?
Well, I've already said that. If there is separation of the powers, already the judiciary is separated, but the best is to get the three separated. Our constitution, the basic and the jurisprudence of this country is that let us few some of them, and the executive positions that the president would have to get. The constitution says at least one half would have to come from Parliament. The person is wearing two hats. I mean, you actually hear people complaining that members of Parliament don't come to Parliament and whatnot. If I'm a minister of state and I have a duty to perform at the ministry, I may have to share my time between the ministry and Parliament. It's only when there are critical issues that the executive duties become secondary, and then all attention is given to the parliamentary one. So, personally, I agree. It is not because I'm not a minister, and it's a principle that I hold on to, even if I'm a minister, and I think that would actually help and push the country forward.
All right, and we're grateful for your time, Honorable Kwame Nyimado. Let me wrap up with you, Joyce, and then Hadi. I'll start off with you, Joyce. Are you tabling some proposals before government to consider quickly?
Hello?
Yes, I'm asking if you have a set of demands or perhaps proposals that you've already tabled before the relevant offices.
Yeah, not yet. We are now engaging Ghanaians, even though we have the gap. But when we engage, what will come out of our engagement will be tabled.
When are we expecting that exercise to end?
In fact, from about first or second week of May, we'll have finished with our activities, and then we'll send some proposals for consideration.
The concern is that it's taking the NCC such a long time to come up with this. Why?
In fact, actually, every 28th April, we engage citizens on the need to consolidate our democracy. So during the work of the Constitution review, we did a lot of work with them, which in the country. But even during the implementation, we did about 9 regions then. So it was a Greater Accra one that a court injunction was put on it, and the process was put on hold. So thereafter, we've been trying to engage looking at how we can do the review. Even last year, we were collaborating with the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs to look at this issue again. So that is how far we have come.
Okay then. Rejoice, we're grateful. And Hadi, for you, as we wrap up your message on this, this whole conversation about whether or not we need a new constitution.
Yes, as your two other guests were speaking, I was reflecting on the sin that the 1992 Constitution has committed against Parliament, for instance, and against NCCE. Look at what it has made of Parliament. Parliament is supposed to be the representative body of the people, holding the actions. But because of very conflicting provisions in the Constitution, Parliament has become basically a rubber stamp to the executive. And whatever the executive wants Parliament to do is what it will do. NCCE is supposed to be an independent state body that is educating and promoting of the nation. Look at what the NCCE has become. SHRAJ, look at what SHRAJ has become. Look at Auditor General Department. Look at all these independent bodies that can only perform their duties if they are truly independent, made to be either ineffective and moribund, or basically towing the line of the government in whatever issues that come up. We need so the point really what is needed is a comprehensive, nationwide, all-inclusive citizen, civic-led process, to bring up a completely new constitution, so that we do not end up with window dressing the problems or picking them piecemeal, and then what they do is only to bring cosmetic changes that do not necessarily give us the fundamental sustainable changes that we need. I think this is the way to go, and there is no other way for us as a country if we want to remain peaceful and stable as a nation.
Okay, I guess we'll have to leave that conversation here. Hadi Yakubu with the Economic Fighters League, now a multi-faith network of both Christians and Muslim faith traditions. Faith in Ghana Alliance has attributed political disturbances in the West Africa region to youth unemployment. Speaking at the national meeting, the national coordinator of the group, Samuel Zan-Akologo, noted that the youth unemployment is a social threat. Marcy Numon has the rest of the story.
Ghana has over the years experienced electoral violence, but the peak of it was in the year 2020 general elections, which led to the death of about 8 persons. Even though some acts of election violence are sometimes perpetrated by state security agencies who are supposed to be knowledgeable about the electoral process, the national coordinator of Faith in Ghana Alliance, Samuel Zan-Akologo, is blaming the ordinary citizen.
It's a painful fact. We put this label on politicians, but the politicians are too few to perpetrate election violence. I will agree with you if we talk about them as being the architects. It is their actions that lead to election violence. But actually those who perpetrate election violence are ordinary people in communities. So they come from families, they come from villages, they come from mosques, they come from churches. They are part and parcel of us.
He also attributed political destabilization in the West African region to youth unemployment.
But the issue of, political destabilization in the region is much bigger than that. There are different notions about discontentment, about governance. So people are reacting. One example, the level of youth joblessness, unemployment, hopelessness is alarming. That is a social threat to many countries. So we need to pay attention to that. But there is the other dimension of extremist groups infiltrating in countries and, as it were, educating and informing people about doctrines of violence. So we need to pay our attention to that also, to see how we can nip any early signs of extremist groups' influence in our societies. Again, religion or religious groups are the best organizations to work in this area, and we are planning so to do.
The Alliance says plans are underway ahead of the 2024 general elections to ensure a violence-free election in the country. Mausi Numun's report for JoyNews.
Now, rains continue to wreak havoc and disrupt many activities in the greater Accra region. At Tesano, the rains have taken over several meters of the road, making it difficult for commuters. These inconvenienced commuters had to endure for at least 4 hours. The Tesano police actually works to dry the roads. Michael Ashali has visited some of these areas earlier today and comes through with this report.
We are right in front of the Ghana Telecom University College, GTUC, where there's a huge traffic buildup because of this portion of the road. It's flooded owing to the rains that came just a few hours ago. Some of the commuters and residents we spoke to tell us that this is a normal issue. Every time it rains, it collects here and there's a huge traffic buildup. Some of the people tell us the traffic is as far as the Achimota overhead. I dare say it could be 5 kilometers from here. So that's traffic buildup here. Earlier there was an MTTD guy on site trying to help the commuters here and the drivers with the traffic situation here. So right now there's a truck here that's trying to do some work here, trying to discharge the floods that have collected, the water that's collected on this portion of the road onto the other side to get you closer to the action. But just so you get an idea of how serious the traffic situation is because of this portion of the road. A 3-lane road, now a 1.5, if you squeeze enough, you could get 2 cars through. Smaller vehicles struggle to go through it. The situation is much better than it was. It's much better now than it was before. So the traffic all the way to the Chimota overhead here. Vehicles will have to slow down to barest minimum in order to squeeze their way through here. So you can see the MTT, the guy who's on site trying to help vehicles commute here safely and as well also direct the vehicle here. Ordinarily that vehicle will be discharging effluents from toilet facilities, but it's here trying to suck away the water that has collected on this portion of the road onto the other side. Some commuters earlier now tried to find some, told us that the drains very close to this portion of the highway is filled to the brim with silt, sand. So it makes it impossible when it rains for the water to flow. I'll try to cross here pretty shortly. I'll try to cross and get closer to where the water is. Wow, it'll be difficult. So the MTTD at least is here trying to do help with the situation. So the water full to just the head of this drain here, and I can confirm that the drain is full as well with silt. You can even see it right from standing here. Let me pass behind this gentleman who's trying to do the Lord's work here. So this vehicle I mentioned earlier is trying to suck away this drain, this water on the portion of the road. Bossman, how long is it going to take before you finish this work?
4 hours.
4 hours? How much of water was sitting on the road when you came?
Oh, it was plenty. Yeah.
I prefer that I have a camera, if you can join me here so that people can appreciate the work that you are doing. So they are from Sewage Systems Ghana Limited. So yeah, so they are declining to talk to us officially, but they tell me that it will take close to 4 hours to completely suck away all this water that has collected here. Wait, when you came, how was the place looking like?
Oh, the place was overflowed. Plenty water was around. So they was giving us pressure because we had to start from Ashimota. We were even working at a long place.
Who called you?
The police service will call us.
The police from where? Tesano?
From Tesano, yeah.
They called you that this is the situation here.
Yeah.
So since how long have you been here?
Oh, we were here like 7 o'clock in the morning.
7?
Yeah, 7 a.m.
That should be more than an hour, close to 2 hours ago.
Close to 2 hours ago, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so what exactly are you doing? What exactly are you doing?
Okay, like we are pulling the water out and just display it outside for the traffic to be less. Because of that, that's why there's plenty of traffic here. The cars can't pass through, so we are here to help and pull the water out so that the cars.
How long is it going to take for you to completely suck away all this water?
Okay, for now we can spend like 6 hours more here.
6 hours?
Yeah, because of how.
That's what time I shoe.
We can spend like 6 hours here, 6 hours. So like let's take it 12 to 1 p.m. I think it will be done, then we leave.
Wow. So what exactly are you doing to the water? You are taking it from here and just put it on the other side of the road. Does it not just transferring the situation from this road to the other?
Okay, what I know is that it seems like this gutter is free, but this one is not all that free. Okay. So we are happy.
The one we are standing on?
Yeah, this one is not free. There's plenty standing inside. And this is not even the first time. It's like they used to call us. Whatever it's rained for long, I used to call us. So we are transferred from here to the other gutter. I think that this gutter is free and it's moving frequently. So we are transferred from here to this place. Yeah.
Make I talk to you small. I mean, this problem, it be normal?
No. The day, every day, every time, if it rains, then this place there is gets stuck. You see that the car is there stuck.
How far does the traffic go?
Up to Achimota.
Up to Achimota, just because of this place?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, so just you can hear from him telling us that the trouble goes as far as Achimota overhead. If you know how far that place is from here, GTUC, it should be more than 3 kilometers, I must say, and I think I'm being generous. This is how will they go?
This thing, unless the government look after the drainage, the gutters, there are more sand inside.
Okay.
You get me? Yes. They should get the workers so that they will remove the sand and the drainage will pass. Because this thing, it has continuous over almost 3 years ago. Yes, I always use this road. You get it from Fadama to Circle. Always I use this road.
How serious is the traffic here? How serious is it?
Oh, it's too bad. It's too bad. It's too bad. The traffic is too bad.
Great. So you just heard from him. He says that, or at least if you can remember, it's been 3 years in the list since this issue started. And we can confirm that in the past there have been efforts to try to solve this problem, but that doesn't seem to go away entirely. The camera guy will get closer to give us closer to this action here on what exactly is happening here. So for those who are just joining us, this is the Tesano to Circle stretch of road right in front of the Ghana Telecom University, and this.
Well, at Laboni, residents living close to the storm drain fear for their lives and properties whenever it rains. The drain is inundated with tree logs and half full with silt. Homes close to the drain were flooded following last night's downpour. Some of the residents allege the logs were left there by unscrupulous persons. The residents fear that the worst will happen as more rains are expected in the coming days. Michael Ashale visited some of those areas as well.
Yet another drain in Accra, and this one specifically in Laboni, not far from the Morning Star School, choked and filled with debris and silt, even to the extent of walls. You can see a slab over there of concrete, I want to believe from a portion of the wall not far from here, making it nearly impossible for this water here that has accumulated from the floods a few hours ago from moving. When it was raining, some of the homeowners around this drain tell me it was life or death. They had to fight to save their possession, their vehicles, and even their lives. We'll speak to some of them here, not far from here. We'll enter this house and get some reaction on the effect of drains like this that were meant to do one job, make sure the area does not flood.
My name is Mrs. Rebo. I've been living here since 2007. And there's this big storm drain just behind my wall and then Aquinas, behind the Aquinas Secondary School. And it's really huge. We haven't had any problem like this before. But about 2-3 months ago, some huge trees were cut along the storm drain. The tree trunks were actually dumped into the drain. So we reported and that nothing was done about it. Because what happened is that the tree trunks now have moved from the top to the bridge. And because of the bridge, it's stuck there and it has collected all the debris that has gone through the drain. So water cannot go through at all. Yesterday, during the downpour in the middle of the night, it overflowed into my house. It came into the car. It came into the one of the rooms.
As someone who lives very close to the storm drain, how much of a worry is this situation? How troubling is it?
It's very troubling. In fact, because it happened when it rained 2 weeks ago, when it started raining last night, I could not sleep. I sat up throughout the night. I actually was sitting up when I saw the rain entering my storeroom. We started collecting it, and then my brother called NADMO, and they came later in the night, after 3. They came around that time.
And when the water was in your house, how was the situation like?
It was very chaotic. In fact, when NADMO came, they asked if we had recorded it. But it was so chaotic that we even forgot to record it. Our concern was to move the cars to a higher level. So, I mean, the whole place was covered, but at least we were able to move the car a little to avoid the water from really going in. And also, we're collecting the water from the storeroom. We did that for over an hour because it kept coming in, it kept coming in.
You tell me that you reported the issue 2 weeks ago,
yes,
or 2 to 3 weeks ago,
yes,
to LADMA.
Yes.
What response did you get from them?
They instructed one of their staff to come and actually visit the site and give a report. So he came round and took pictures. And then when I contacted them, they said they needed to get highways involved to come quickly and come and repair. But every time I call, it's like they are on it. They will get back to me back and forth for 2 weeks now.
We are in the raining season. What, as a homeowner very close to it, what's your fear?
Oh, my fear is that next time it will be worse because, you know, right now, my fear is that even one side of the wall, I think, is weakening, because it went to about knee level at that point. And now with the collapse of that portion of the bridge, that is the part that faces my house, you know. So any heavy downpour, it will just erode closer to the building. That is my worst fear. Please, I want a highways to be alerted, because the next time, I don't know whether the bridge can cave in, but at least a portion of the concrete supporting the side of the bridge has caved in. And now it's just bare soil. So the least rain, it will just erode all that side. It will just erode that side. So as a matter of urgency, if they can even come in today to get the engineers to even see the problem and then start planning, because we are, like you are saying, we are in the middle of we don't know when. Even now, it's still looking overcast a little.
Like Mrs. Siribo and many other homeowners living very close to this storm drain in Labone, they fear the worst, given that more rains are expected in the coming days. For JoyNews, Michael Ashale.
Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana has highlighted the role of technology in training critical thinkers for today's world. According to her, acquiring skills in ICT has become a crucial part of preparing the country's graduates to contribute meaningfully to the issue of national development. Professor Nana Abba Amfo was speaking at a ceremony where the University of Ghana and the Korea International Cooperation Agency signed an agreement to bridge the widening ICT gap among tertiary students. Louisa Sari has more on this project.
According to the Korean ambassador to Ghana, Jun Taek Lim, a Ghana-Korean Center for Excellence for ICT-based startups will be built as part of the initiative to encourage more tertiary students and the youth in general to have easy access to ICT training tools and resources.
The project to establish the Ghana-Korea Center of Excellence for ICT-based startups and Asian research, GK Impact, is a meaningful project which would contribute to furthering cooperative relationship between Korea and Ghana. I believe the establishment of the center would help Ghana surface as a hub for deepening understanding of Asia, in particular Korea's unique and inspiring history of economic growth, underpinned by cutting-edge technological advancement and innovation. The Republic of Korea will provide full support for the implementation of the GK Impact Project, thereby ensuring the center becomes world-class knowledge sharing hub and platform for intercollegiate exchange and promotion of Korean culture and best practices.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Abba Amfo, says the $9 million grant by KOICA will help the University of Ghana major in two critical areas: digitalization and Asian studies.
Today we are here to sign an agreement which will see to the establishment of the Ghana-Korea Center of Excellence for ICT-based startups and Asian studies. I can say that it is the first and preeminent academic unit in Ghana which is exclusively dedicated to supporting research, training and exchange programs and activities in Asian studies in close collaboration with Asian and other global partners. The GK Impact will certainly provide the opportunity and a stimulating environment for realizing the mandates of the Center for Asian Studies, as well as making the University of Ghana a hub for building vibrant startups in the ICT sector. This generous $9 million grant will allow the University of Ghana to synchronize two critical areas of interest, which are digitalization and Asian studies. As Vice Chancellor, my vision is to create a culture that promotes research, teaching and learning, administrative processes and extension services driven by technology and anchored in humanism. In recognition of global trends in ICT and the era of technology, the university is training students who are critical thinkers, humane, culturally sensitive, technologically adept, and ready to provide leadership both locally and internationally.
The provost of the College of Humanities, Professor Daniel Ofori, said it is the university's priority to create jobs and entrepreneurship opportunities for the students as part of the country's economic growth.
Apart from providing students with the ability to go out to work, we're also providing them with the ability to start up their own businesses. And so that's also going to help as a hub for students to do the kinds of things that we are teaching them in the classroom, and not only be future employees, but also future employers as well.
KOICA assured the University of Ghana of its continued support in all future projects. Lois Asari's report for JoyNews.
And you're still watching The Pulse here on the JoyNews channel. We'll return shortly after this break. Well, so it's on. The National Science and Maths quiz for this year is heating up. And obviously, we need to give you some updates here on the JoyNews channel. So we're taking you live now to the Bono region where the zonal competition is on. Manuel Cranting has details of today's contest for us. Manuel, take us away.
Yeah, so blessed indeed. It has been a really exciting journey of qualifiers. Totally, we have the representatives from the Bono zone that's made up of course, the Bono region, the Bono East region, and the Ahafo region. Now, though, what we're going to have is the Bono Zonal Championship. Last year in Kranza Senior High Technical School, actually fought off competition from Sunyani Senior High School and then St. James SHS to actually win it. This year, shocker is they're not even going into the national championship. And so, of course, that means that we'll have a new set of schools competing for the big laurel of zonal champions. But we're having a repetition because St. James Seminary is also represented in this year's zonal championship, just as they were in last year's. it's been exciting. We don't know whether Our Lady of Mount Carmel Girls SHS is going to win, because they've had, amongst all the 4 schools that are currently on stage, the high set of scores. There's St. James Seminary, there's Techiman SHS, and then there's Ameyao Akumfi SHTS, and as they call themselves, Nananom, they really are, the heirs to the throne of Techiman. And we know there are 3 schools from just the Bono East region that are represented on stage. So let me just start off by talking to the guys from St. James Seminary, because really we are in Sunyani, in their home region. And so we'll find out from them how the feeling is. I mean, the guys from St. James, if you can hear me, I will take for. Oh, I can't hear you. It's like your vim and your morale is so low. Okay, and if only the noise could win you the contest, we'll just find out. And what's your name?
My name is James.
Okay, James, last year you were in the grand final of the zonal championship, and you couldn't win it. In Kwanzaa Senior High Technical beat you to it. This year you are here again. There's another Senior High Technical from Akumfi Ameyao. You are not worried at all?
No, we're not intimidated at all. Our boys are good. They're going to win. We already know it. We trust them. They got it covered. You wait and see.
Well, interestingly, the girls from Our Lady of Mount Carmel, they did very well in their qualifying, contest to the grand finale. If you put that against your performance, somebody would actually say that you are going to lose to them.
Well, today you're going to see a surprise, because St. James is coming out strong. We're going to win. Today we're going to separate the men from the boys, and we're going to show you that we're the men.
Who are the boys on stage?
Well, Techiman SHS, Akumfi Ameyao SHTS. Our Lady of Mount Carmel find their ladies, but we can separate them. But today, you're going to see the true power of St. James.
Is there something new that you have introduced? You are the coordinator for St. James.
Well, we've changed a lot of things. Our system has changed. Because last year we saw the mistakes that we did, and we have beefed it up. This time, like my boy said, it's going to be mega. The surprise that is coming, you can't hold it.
We can't hold it, and we'll wait to see, because in just the next couple of hours, we'll find out whether their new strategy is actually going to work. I would say for. Okay, they're very loud and very, well represented in here in the auditorium. But let me talk to the ladies, because they are the only all-girls schools to have actually made it into the grand finale of the Bono Zonal Championship. Noble ladies. Noble ladies. Noble ladies. And you can hear the rattling within the auditorium. Are you sure? Because the guys from St. James, they say, well, they are here to separate the boys from the men. You are ladies, but they are going to separate you too.
As the saying goes, what men can do, women can do better. Okay. The boys from St. James don't scare us at all. Like, we can do it. We believe in our girls. They are full of high potentials, and we know they can do it. Yes.
And so the fact that they were in the grand finale last year does not intimidate you. They have the experience of last year's competition added to this year's. In Kwanzaa is out. I'm hearing you say in Kwanzaa is out. They were the champions.
Yes, please. Get closer, let's talk. The fact that they were there last year doesn't scare us, because in Kwanzaa the reigning champions were there, but now they're out. They didn't even qualify, so they don't scare us a bit. They don't scare
you a bit, and that is to show you. And they started by saying what men can do, women can do better. Noble ladies. Massima. And that's what they're saying. And let's talk to the guys from Akumfi Ameyao. They are the real, surprises within this particular contest. Aztec. Nanama. Are you sure? Because we're just doing a bit of, cultural studies, and they said the Nanamba themselves, they are not heirs to the throne of the town, and so these are the guys who are actually going to win.
Yeah, we are going to win. We are going to show them that we are from where we are. Akumfi Ameyao, they didn't know us to be so good like this, and now we are trying to show the world that we are also the best. So we are going to show them how we are brilliant.
You're going to show them how you're brilliant. What should we expect from your guys on stage? There's St. James, there's Techiman, and Techiman SHS, by the way, is the only seeded school from this entire zone. What should we expect from you?
Nothing but the best, because we are really prepared, and we are coming to face them. We don't fear anybody. We are really a number, so we don't fear anybody.
You're a number.
Yes.
You're basking in the glory of being a number. Aztec. Aztec. We would have to wrap it up, but I can't do that without speaking to the guys from Super Test. Really, in this entire competition, they are the only seeded school from the 2021 edition of the competition. They went all the way into the quarterfinals in last year's edition. None of the schools represented on stage actually were able to get to the to the quarterfinals. They have done that, and they are back here trying to build up again to get into this year's competition. Super Test.
Nothing but the best.
Super Test.
Nothing but the best.
And that gives you a semblance of the irony, right? The only seeded school, not so much of support in here, and then St. James, so much support. But how are you going to change your representation in here? We are seeing not so many of your students here. Would that affect your performance?
No, I don't think so. Because we believe in our guys and we know that they can do more and more. We believe in Baumia. Baumia himself is here. So nothing.
Where is Baumia?
Baumia is here with us. He is one of our contestants. So
there's a Baumia on stage?
Yes, there is Baumia on stage. Yes, this is scientific Baumia, not economist Baumia. This is scientific Baumia. He is here with us.
I see, there's a scientific Baumia on stage. That's what we're learning right here in the auditorium of the Sunyani Technical University. Now all the chips are on the table, and it is really anybody's game this afternoon. So in just a couple of hours, we'll be back to tell you who actually was able to walk the talk. Really, everybody's been talking hard. Let's see who will walk the talk. From here at the Sunyani Technical University, my name is Manuel Kranti. Back to you in the studio.
Well, so the excitement is definitely on, and I'm sure that many of you will be on the lookout for your schools in the National Science and Maths Quiz, which is heating up. Which school are you rooting for this year? We'll definitely cover all that for you here on the JoyNews channel, but that's all we have for you here on the polls. But don't forget as well that we're bringing that special coverage to you. The president is set to address the nation in a few moments from now. He's speaking on the occasion of the 30th anniversary since the 1992 Constitution was adopted by a referendum. Evans Mensah and the team has a special coverage for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll bring that all here on the JoyNews channel. Evans?